Hi, welcome. Thank you for giving me the time to speak. My name is Daniel Stakleff. I'm the founder of NodeLaunch. We're a master node, incentivized node hosting platform. What does that mean? This is a little preface for some of you that aren't familiar with blockchain. You might have heard of a new currency called Bitcoin. The way Bitcoin works, there's an underlying technology called blockchain that has several functions that make it function. And one of these functions are actually financially incentivized quite a bit. And they're called nodes. They have different terminology. If you're in the grassroots crowds, they can be called master nodes, super nodes, or just in general, they'll call it staking. So what do? We offer a new way where we turn those nodes into new financial vehicles in a turnkey hosted platform that removes all the technical nuances and allows investors to treat it as an investment. So what kind of problems would you run into if you're trying to participate with these nodes if you don't have any platform to do this for you? You're going to have your general setup problems. You're going to have to be very technical outside the average individual, know Linux, what a virtual private server is. You have to know how to properly secure your computer device that's doing this for you, how to set up firewalls and all these other things. You're going to have to know how to properly choose the investment that you want. So if you don't know where to look, you're going to get very poor information. And then you're going to have to maintain all this down to the digital wallet that holds the currency, the security, and so forth, and all the other nuances. So what do? We offer the enterprise-grade security. We have honeypots, firewalls, proper ways to store the data. We follow traditional banking standards. In regards to the user's time, they're going to have information that they can digest to properly make decisions. You're going to have financial data to also make proper decisions, and it's an inclusive platform. So you put all this together, you're going to become an evangelist and really a proponent for digital assets. So why is this important now? After Bitcoin launched, a whole host of new coins are getting launched even to this day. 2014, you had a company called Dash. They launched their protocol. They were the first one to really incentivize these nodes. And then 2017, there was a boom in the market. So you had hundreds and hundreds of projects that were launching and utilizing the same standards. A company called NodeShare, later that year, they started a hosting platform to host these similar to what we're doing, but all they were essentially was actually a virtual private server provider, a middleman. At the peak of that market in 2018, the market cap, the total value of all these protocols reached $8 billion. And then you had Fidelity, one of the largest financial institutions, took a stake in a hosting company that did just for Dash, and that's it. And then most recently, a company called Stake.us, one of our competitors, they raised $4.5 million, and then we're at today. So what's the market size today? You got 25 billion total market cap, 300,000 plus master nodes, or however else you want to term them. 25% or more of all these blockchains that you're going to run into, they utilize some type of structure similar to master nodes or incentive nodes.
Flash flood warning. we're high enough.
You're going to have close to $2.5 billion in annual awards going forward from today. So it's fairly large. Our business model, what we do is the user, just like a certificate of deposit, you get a return on periodic times. So we yield 25% of the return that the users retain. In year one, we're only going to do 84,000, but it jumps up quite significantly. And the reason for this is actually because of the growth in the market. And we built this financial data actually several months ago, so this is not properly reflective. It would be more actually. So the growth in the crypto market, if you're not familiar, to be conservative, it grows probably around 5% a month, which is pretty significant. So what's our product overall? You're going to have, as a user, come in, you log in, you get to search a list of assets. After you've done your due diligence, you'll deposit the required amount of, like a CD required to deposit the required amount. Click launch, review what you've done, and that's it. And you sit and start receiving your passive income. Fairly simple, just like a certificate of deposit. Our main competitors, we have Gencoin. They're targeted towards the grassroots users, so you have to be like a Cyberpunk or so forth. They're not full service. They don't allow multiple users to pull their funds together to launch these nodes. There's no insights, all they have is no commitments. You have to go to multiple exchanges to participate. They have no security. Then you have index capital. They're a fund that's decentralized, it's tokenized, so your stake, if you own one token, you get a percent of however they're investing the funds. Similar to Jincoin, they're negative across the board. And then one of the new entrants, Staked, they're targeting institutional grade investors, be like hedge funds and so forth. They're full service, they don't have no commitments, they're enterprise grade security, but outside of that, they're still a little dry, and they just kind of pander to whatever the hedge funds and other individuals. So what we do is we fill all those gaps, and we want to target the broader retail market. So anybody, your mom, your uncle, whoever it is, can participate with easy use, just like any other banking app. So who are we? Who's the people driving this vision? You have myself. I'm an Ironman finisher, so I have a lot of drive. I participate in different startups, from online magazines, medical marijuana, blockchain companies, gone to politics for Ron Paul, was a national delegate. My mentor and our chairman, he's worked for Booz & Co, Accenture. He's across the board. He advises quite a bit of companies. Our CTO is a local individual here in Nevada. He's a PhD in computer science. He's tenured at UNLV for 10 years, grade-based intrusion pioneer. He loves blockchain. He just started teaching one of the first courses actually at UNLV. One of our newer members, Ian, he was a former from IBM. He was there was a protocol GoChain, reached around $500 million in market cap. So he's heading our business. We have a CMO. She used to be from American Express. She knows how to do kind of grassroots growth too, in Telegram groups, reached over close to 130,000. She helped a company that raised $30 million recently in 2017. So she's very accomplished. We have our part-time CFO. He's worked for PwC. Right now he's working in Hong Kong for a hedge fund. He's very accomplished young individual. He also owns bars and things like that in Hong Kong. Our lead engineer, he's from UNLV. Now he got hired at Whitewater. He was actually like the protege to our CTO years ago. We just brought on a CIO from the Commonwealth Bank of Australia. He's helping us structure everything with traditional banking standards, position ourselves properly for sale. So what do we want to do in the future? We want to decentralize virtual private servers, so we don't have to be dependent on third-party providers to fill that gap. Allow investors to lease their master nodes that they may be hosting. They retain those profits earlier. Create a secondary market for these locked up coins. As I mentioned earlier, it's like a CD. So we want to create a secondary market. There's further hosting for other nodes that aren't master nodes. A hardware wallet, so you can buy a home device and you don't have to figure out on your computer how to do it. And then service nodes. That would be something like, let's say UPS, and you want to offer better tracking for your products that you're delivering. You can utilize blockchain in that sense. So what milestones, where are we at right now? We finished our core MVP. We have a white paper and everything ready to submit for patents. We have some strategic partners. In LA, we have Block Nexus with one of the main partners there is Tammy Marciano. She leads the Guest Jeans family and their network of 300 other family offices. So when we're prepared, she's going to lead us into those family offices to retain those customers. Southeast Asia, we have ZeroCap. They're a group from Australia, and they work with pretty high net worth individuals out of China and so forth. So kind of similar to Block Nexus, but for Southeast Asia. We started doing research for our own blockchain. And then we actually, the last bullet point there is, we haven't fixed it. We actually have two MOUs with an exchange out of California. They have 1 million plus users, so we're working to integrate our API there. And then another exchange in Australia. So right now, what are we asking? 500,000. It's going to be a convertible note. We're doing the 220 model. That's going to go towards marketing, so we can start deploying that young lady from American Express. Team expansion, mostly hire more developers because it's a developer-intensive business. And then we're going to do a security token offering that takes advantage of some of the new laws where we can tokenize our securities and raise capital from the crowd versus institutional or accredited investors. So by the end of our launch, we want to, after year one, we have 10 strategic partners. They could be exchanges, lending platforms, and so forth. We're going to host 12,000 nodes, 15 exchange partners, and prepare to launch our own blockchain. And that's us. Thank you for your time.